So let's take a look in our books. Gotta get this up. Where's my password? Got a little Beastie Boys lyrics up for us. But I fly a fat burger when I'm way out west. So that's what today's brought to you. All right, so friends, I am on 5.2. Now, I have April 10th as a day. I gave you 1, 2, and 3. And then I think we did 4, 5, 6 at some point, correct? So did I go over 1, 2, 3? I don't remember. I think I did. Yeah? And then I said, did you try 4, 5, 6? Is that right? All right. So for the first problem, it says find the max and mins. This is worksheet 5.2. Desmos. So honestly, how you could go about this problem. Now just realize if you were to take a traditional calculus class, we don't necessarily get the benefit of Desmos in those types of classes, but with the work with Stirrup, we're all day long, minus 5x to the third. All right, so they wanted, for problem number 4, give all max and mins for the following ordered pair. Okay, so this is a max, and this is a min. Okay, so negative 1 comma 2 is a max. 1 comma negative 2 is a min. What is at 0, 0? It's not a max or a min. What's the other thing that takes place? Point of inflection. Okay, so basically what happens on this graph, if I kind of spread it out a little bit and then maybe make it a little thicker, what's basically happening on this graph is this has a positive slope coming up. Right here at the top has a slope of 0. As it comes down, it has a negative slope. It starts leveling out, goes to a slope of 0 at the point of inflection, and then starts as a negative slope again. And then as you get to your minimum, then you have a positive slope. That's the main thing to look at on that type of graph, okay? And again, Desmos, very helpful for you. It's a good visual, but again, you know, my strong recommendation, and I'm not saying this to scare anybody, but you all know me. I like options. Yes? You give me options. Let me make my best decision based on the options I have. Does that make sense? I don't like there's only one way to do it. Okay? If you are going to college, if you have to take calculus, friends, I strongly recommend that you take calculus at a community college. Okay, now let me explain, because it might not have always been made clear to you about a community college. A lot of people think, oh, community college, oh, why would someone do 2 years at a community college and switch to a 4-year, and that's 6 years of school? No, your community college credit transfers to colleges and universities. It goes in place like, oh, you took that class. You have the credit for that class. And then when you get your diploma from whatever university you choose to go to, it says you satisfy the requirements of that college or university, whether you did all your classes at that college or university or you transferred stuff in. Okay? The reason I say if you take calculus at a community college or a junior college, you're going to be sitting in a classroom about this big. Okay? You have a teacher who's more than likely had been a math teacher in high school, and they're teaching at the community college. A lot of times when you take calculus at the community college, and I kid you not, I remember when I was at Arizona State, I walked into my calculus class, and the person did not speak English, and there was 300 people in the class. Okay? And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I went and dropped the class right away, and it became inconvenient because I was at Arizona State and I'd have to drive to a community college 3 days a week to do my calculus. But when I took calculus, I walk into a class like this size, didn't have all the cool posters, but roughly the same. And the teacher spoke English. I did very well. And I mean, I kid you not, I'm not trying to frighten you or scare you away. I just, again, if I have all the options for my availability, take a look at a community college if you have to take calculus or take any math class. Okay, it's going to be similar to a high school experience, which I know a lot of you are like, well, dude, I'm so done with high school. Don't worry, it's like high school but for older people. Okay, usually it's 2 or 3 days a week that you'd have to take it. If it's 2 days, you're in there for like an hour and a half. It's 3 days, you're in there for like 50 minutes. But it's a lot more doable. You know, your teacher becomes more approachable. When you're sitting in a classroom of 300 people as a freshman in college, you're just kind of looking around going, what the? And you're watching all these people around you who are like scribing word for word what the teacher's saying. You're like, I guess I should take some notes. And then again, sometimes you will walk in and it's the person who is assigned to teach the class is working on a PhD in something. They might not speak English. They might speak English not very well. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just giving you a warning. Just know that community college option is a really good viable option for kids. Okay? My daughters, they went right to universities and did it. My daughter, who's at Purdue, said Calculus 2 was the hardest class she ever taken. There was 500 people in her class. And she's like, Dad, I don't want to tell you this, but I'll tell you this. I got a C in Calc 2. I'm like, you could have called me. I could have helped you. Well, Dad, there's like 500 people in the class. Again, you could have called me. But no, let's face it, we don't want to talk to our parents, right? Number 5 says, give all max and mins for the following function as ordered pairs. Okay, so again, we'll jump on decimals for this one. So y equals quantity. Y equals quantity, meaning parentheses. X squared minus 4x. Close parentheses. And then that quantity is squared. And then plus 5. So seek out where you can find the graph. And this one says, give all the max and mins of the following. So that's a minimum, a maximum, and a minimum. Are there any points of inflection up here? So basically on this side of the line over here, negative slope, positive slope, negative slope, positive slope. This would work really nicely on a sine line if you're looking at it, but that's visually what the sine line would look like. Sine line would have your turning points. So you'd list 0 to 4. Left of 0, you have a negative. Right of 0 and left of 2, you'd have positive. Right of 2, left of 4, you have negative. And then right of 4, you have positive as far as slopes go. And that's basically your sine line. And then number 6 says that we want to give this, we want to complete the F prime chart. So this is a derivative chart. And they have a graph that kind of looks like this that they give you. That's -1, -2, and +1. So it looks like it does this, flattens out, continues down, and heads up. All right, so what would this point right here be? A max or a min? Min. So that's an important point. Agree? What is this right here as it flattens out on our graph? If it's flat on the graph, it's a, and it's not a max or a min, it's a what? This is called a point of inflection. And so when you know on a sign line when you're looking at a point of inflection, you have -2 and you have 1. Those are the only 2 points. So we would have a negative slope here and a negative slope here. If you have 2 of the same signs next to each other on a sign line, that means a point of inflection has taken place. And then this is a positive slope here. And that's all you have to do there. So if you have 2 negatives in a row or 2 positives in a row, that means a point of inflection has taken place, meaning right at that exact point, we would have a 0. So the main 3 things that can happen when with the derivative or sign line, you have max, min, and point of inflection. Okay, so if you have a max, it would go negative to positive. And then a min would be positive to negative. And a point of inflection would either be positive, positive, or negative, negative. That have to take place to identify that. Okay? Let's see. How we doing? We're all right? Okay, so a lot of times we will call these, like the -2 and the 1, if you label that on a sign line, those are called critical values or critical points. Hey, good to see you, my friend. So just know if you see the term critical value, it's the x value of a max, a min, or a point of inflection. And again, that goes on your derivative sign line. So if you have positive, positive, negative, positive, this would have been the point of inflection. This would have been a, let's see, positive max. And this would have made a min. Okay, so those are the 3 things that could take place. Those values can be found, critical values can be found by taking the first derivative and then setting the first derivative equal to 0. That's basically how you go and figure out what critical values are. And that's what happens with all of that, okay? So, let's see. So come tomorrow, I know this is a rarity, but I will actually put this in as points. And there's a word they call as polysim. The polysim is just, you're doing that on your calculator. So when you see the word polysim, just know that everything we're doing here, Desmos is going to happen. You don't have to worry about polysim on the graphing calculator. But would you make sure the front and the back of worksheet 5.2 is done, and I will be putting that in as points tomorrow. Okay? And then again, so that'll be today and tomorrow. We have some review tomorrow, some more review on Thursday. Wednesday is a testing day, so do seniors even show up on Wednesday? And you don't show up Wednesday next week either? And you don't show up Tuesday next week because Senior Ditch Day? Be honest with me, is anyone else taking the Monday off as well to create a 5-day weekend? I'm just trying to prepare. I just wing it. I mean, there's no judgment. I'd be the same dude. So that's what I have planned. And then come Friday this week, there will be a sub. That's my moving day. If anyone shows up from this class to my house on Friday, I'll just give you an automatic A so you can help me move. Okay. I would love to be able to offer that. Unfortunately, that might be the last time you see me because I'd be put on leave right after that saying, you sold a grade for kids to come help you move off campus? Uh-huh.
I mean, you could sell like extra credit points to come off. I'll still do it.
I got on Friday, let's see, Friday next week. So Thursday this week, I'm picking up the rental van. And anything that's in a box, I'm loading it in there. And then we sign the paperwork for our house, get her into our new house on Friday. I'll unload that rental van. I'll drive the rental van back to my original house. And then we have another van showing up, or moving truck showing up on Saturday with 5 movers. And they get to move things like the piano, the refrigerators out of the basement, all the things that I don't feel I need to move any longer because it's just me. But I think I got enough. And my friend Ron will help me on Thursday night load, so it'll be good. But that's basically what I have planned. Everyone good? Everyone know what to work on? Everybody happy? Yes, friends, Friday, I will put in really big font for the sub saying, give them this test. Also tell them there's something on Schoology. Both things can be worked on as a class. And I will have it highlighted. So if the sub's like, got to do it on your own, I don't believe in this, be like, dude, look at the lesson plan. Orange highlighter, stirrup highlighted. So, cool.